So yeah, I am a picky bitch when it comes to makeup and makeup products, and I just am like, okay, so you guys already know from the title of this video that today we are doing a review of the Pat McGrath Concealer and Under Eye Blurring Powder. So let's just go ahead and get straight into all of the dirty details of these particular products and what I think of them. You can also give the video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it, and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you would like to. I truly appreciate it, but if not, all good. So if any of you watch makeup YouTube or go on Instagram and look at makeup accounts or anything like that, you probably have seen the Pat McGrath concealer floating around. It's definitely not a brand new product. I think it came out last year, but I don't know off the top of my head, to be completely honest. But what you will hear is most people that talk about this concealer talk about how it is basically almost the best concealer of all time, is what I have heard multiple times used to describe this particular concealer from Pat McGrath. So I have been very intrigued to try her formula for quite some time. So naturally, in her 35% off sale recently, I picked up the concealer and also the under eye blurring powder. Now, I originally picked this up. The one thing I actually like about Pat McGrath's website, side note, is that you can get, she kind of like bundles things together so that they're discounted. And when she does do like her 30 or 35% off sales, those bundles come down so cheap that you basically get a discount on, like, say the concealer still, and then get the other product for free. It's amazing. Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom you guys in nice and close so that you can see how this concealer is going to apply on my my fabulous under eyes here. Foundation is on and we are now ready for concealer, and this is what the packaging looks like up close, and it is a glass bottle. Now you do get 5 mils and like 0.16 fluid ounce in these particular concealers, so you don't actually get too much product in here, to be completely honest with you. Your Tarte Shape Tapes, your Jouer Cosmetics, your Fenty Beauty, your CoverGirl True Blend, etc. They definitely have a lot more product in them. However, I don't seem to need to use as much product with this particular concealer as I do with other concealers. So I'm not too concerned about the quantity amount in here, more the performance, if that makes sense. But if you are someone that does take that into consideration, then you should know that it definitely doesn't have as much product in it as other concealers on the market. Now I'm just going to quickly read you a little bit of the description from the website, because I feel like this describes how this concealer actually works and performs quite well, which is rare. Usually all products are like, I'm amazing, and then you get it and you're like, doesn't actually perform like that. However, I do find that this one is quite accurate. So it says on the website, the concealer is crafted with a Vita Serum Complex designed to help fight the formation of wrinkles by preserving the hydrolipidic film barrier, I don't know if I'm saying that right, of the skin. So basically it boosts hydration by activating the natural production of hyaluronic acid and ceramides. FlexForm Matrix Powder Blend ensures uniform and true color, blending smoothly into the skin. Optically diffusing pigments unveil sublime soft focus effects, elegantly improving skin texture by smoothing and blurring the appearance of fine lines and imperfections. This flexible, lightweight formula imparts superior, long-lasting performance, rendering a luxe velvety texture with an exceptionally silky feel. Ta-da! So basically this concealer sounds like it is going to pay your taxes, clean your house, and love you for the rest of your entire life. And to be completely honest with you, I actually kind of agree. It does do all of those things. I wish. I'm kidding, obviously. But it really does actually perform how they have described it on the website. And I can assure you, the first time I tried this concealer, I was legitimately blown away. So let's just go ahead and put these on. Now, like I said, I have the shade L4 and the shade L2. So L2 is a neutral undertone with it's like a neutral peach undertone, and then L4 is just straight peach undertones. So if you go on her website, you can kind of click on each one of the colors and it will tell you the different undertones for each one. So I will quickly swatch these two particular shades on the back of my hand just so that you guys can see the difference between them for a reference point. So this one on the bottom here is L4 with peach undertones, and this one on the top here is L2 with neutral peach undertones. I always tend to go for peach undertones with my concealers just because I do have dark under eyes and pigmented under eyes. The peach tends to at least cancel that out a little bit, or at least as best it can. I also don't find this concealer oxidizes at all. I don't know if concealers do oxidize, but I find this to be perfectly true to color. However it comes out on the swatch is exactly what it looks like on the under eye. Now I'm going to take the shade L4 first, and I'm going to pop this on. And how I like to do it, now again, I always give a disclaimer when I do my under eyes because I use a lot of concealer, you guys. I have a lot of pigmentation, etc. And I like to do thin layers and build them up to the coverage that I like. So you may not need to put your concealer in the same areas that I do, and you may not need to use as much concealer as I do. So just keep that in mind. I am literally doing my application as best as I see or as best as I've found it to work for my particular under eyes. So just keep that in mind. But I just kind of put it in like a circle like this, so that it kind of covers the circle of darkness and pigmentation underneath my eyes, if that kind of makes sense. And then I also just put a little bit of L2 just straight over the top, not a lot though, just a slightly little bit. And I let it sit for about 30 seconds to a minute, because I usually find this formula is not very quick, like it's not super quick drying. You don't have to blend one eye at a time. You can let it sit for a minute if you want to build that coverage up, or if you don't, you can just blend it out straight away. But I find if I let it sit for a minute, it kind of just firms it up a little bit and makes it a little bit more full coverage. And I will say this concealer is so lightweight. So lightweight, like it described, like the application description on the website says to do thin buildable layers, and I completely agree. This concealer is perfect for thin buildable layers, so it doesn't ever really look, well, I have not found it yet to look cakey on my under eyes, and I use more concealer than the average person, if that makes sense. Okay, so the concealer's been sitting there for about 30 seconds, maybe just a little bit shorter than that because I'm feeling impatient today. And I'm just taking my sponge like I normally would. This is just slightly damp, it's not excessively damp or anything like that. You could take a brush as well if you want. I just like to use a sponge. And I just very lightly tap this concealer out into my skin. And I like to concentrate my concealer out kind of like towards this outer bit here, and then I blend whatever's left over upwards up to my lash line. And I kind of just take whatever's left over as well and put it over my lid. And you can see that it literally took 30 seconds, if not, like I reckon probably more like 10 seconds to blend out. It is so easy and so beautiful to blend out. This is one layer of the concealer, or I guess it's kind of two layers because it's one layer of L4 and then a really slight layer of L2. But this is that one layer for me kind of blended out. So I definitely will build this up further, but I want to show you guys what this looks like just with the one layer, because you can see, honestly, my under eyes look stunning. Now let's ignore pigmentation. Let's pretend I don't have pigmentation or dark circles, and let's just look at my texture, because I also wonderfully have textured under eyes and under eye wrinkles, because I've always had them. Even when I looked at photos from when I was a child, I just had under eye wrinkles, so that's fine. But if we just look at purely the texture of my under eyes, this concealer is they just look so beautiful and natural. So as you can see, my under eyes look amazing. Like, this is one really thin layer, you guys. This is amazing. They look gorgeous, honestly. I say they look gorgeous, and I mean, in terms of like, I don't have under eye filler or anything like that, you guys. This is just my God-given under eyes, and this is the best concealer that I've ever found to make them look like this. Honest to God, I swear. Like, maybe I should have done like a Pat McGrath side and then like my old favorite concealer side. But honestly, like, they just look so smooth. Maybe I'll find some footage from another video of my under eyes or something and see if I can insert that in here, because these just look so smooth and like the texture is minimized, and I just love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and build this concealer up like I normally would. Now, if you don't have pigmented under eyes or dark circles or anything like that, you'd probably one and done and gone and on your way and happy. But if you are like me and have dark under eyes and pigmented under eyes, you probably want to build this up a little bit more. So the choice is yours. So this is layer 2 of, or what I classify as layer 2 of my concealer, and you can still see that even though I have put quite a bit more of this product on, it still doesn't look cakey, it still doesn't look overly textured, it doesn't look heavy or anything like that. My wrinkles aren't like showing more or anything like that. It's still looking really, really, really nice and smooth. I think if you have dry skin, or you're someone who doesn't want to set your foundation and set your under eyes, or you don't like to, or you don't normally to, I definitely think this is a concealer that you wouldn't need to set your under eyes. It's definitely one of those ones that you could just like tap it in throughout the day and it will just kind of like reposition itself. It really is just an effortless concealer, honestly, and for being so full coverage as well, it's crazy how natural this concealer is really. However, I definitely have combo virgin on oily skin and I need to set my entire face, and I just personally like setting my under eyes. I think they look a little bit nicer when I set them. So I always set my under eyes, and I always set my face. So that is what we are going to do. And like I said, I also purchased the Pat McGrath under eye blurring powders. Now I have been wanting these for so long, because if you have under eye and blurring in the same sentence as your product name, I'm probably going to purchase it and try it.
Shut up and take my money.
Because I mean, who doesn't want blurred under eyes without having to get filler and all that kind of stuff? You know what I'm saying? Who doesn't? Now I picked up Light First, which definitely, if you are kind of my skin tone, maybe a couple of shades even darker than my skin tone, and then anything downward, Light is the color for you, particularly for your under eyes. Because I will say, from using the color medium just once off, this is way darker than you think it is. I purchased this kind of like as an all over face powder, and I need to try it again today to actually be 100% certain if the shade's going to work for me all over. I think it will, especially if I have a tan. But yeah, definitely only get this if you are like a true medium onward skin tone. The amount of product in here is 4 grams or 0.14 ounces. So you don't get a whole lot, but you don't need a whole lot to set your under eyes. So particularly, like, I wouldn't purchase this as an all over face powder, really, to be completely honest with you. I only did because I was going to pick up another concealer and it was the same price, if that makes sense, because of the sale. How many times can I say because of the sale? Because it was on sale in this video. Jesus.
You shut up.
But yeah, if you were going to pick this up just like on its own, this is an under eye powder and pretty much that's it. Maybe like a T-zone powder if you want like that blurred pore effect, which I personally love. So let's go ahead and put on this under eye blurring powder. Now basically it kind of has the same technology as the concealer, it seems to say, but in a powder version, and it should just smooth and blow your under eyes to perfection, really. And does it do that? Like, not to the point where you're probably gonna have like, oh, it looks like I have filler on my under eyes and a legitimate filter in real life. No, I don't think that product exists. Like, I literally don't think that's possible unless you have a filter on, like on a camera, you know what I'm saying? But this is the closest thing I've ever come to a blurred under eye, or a smooth under eye, if that kind of makes sense. I always use this with a brush. I usually, if any of you have watched any of my other videos, I have always used the Fenty Beauty Lavender powder, and I always use a powder puff to kind of set my under eyes. I don't do that with this powder because if I use a powder puff with this, it is way too heavy. It's just too much powder. You just need a very, very small amount, which is why I use a brush. So I find like a tapered blending brush like this one, which is a Sigma F35, is really, really perfect for it. So I am just going to lightly tap my brush in here, and it does have fallout. So just keep that in mind. It is a very like kind of, I don't think you'll be able to see it, but it is a powdery product. So don't go in here, dig your brush in. You're gonna get, like, you're probably gonna scrape away all of the product. You just need a small amount, and just keep in mind it is quite powdery, okay? And then all I do is I look up and I kind of just tap it underneath my eye, like this. And you just do not need a lot. And I'm just gonna tap a little bit more in, and I like to set my kind of T-zone here, just because, and my smile wrinkles here that I've seemed to have suddenly gotten at 30, which has been glorious. I'm just gonna set half my face here, like, or half my T-zone here, just so that you guys can see the difference. Okay. So this side of my face is set and this side is not, and I feel like I'm trying to see in the monitor. Yeah, you can totally see this side of my face is blurred. Like I look as close to getting a filter on my skin as I'm going to get.
Look at it.
I'm looking.
No, look at it.
I don't have any filters or anything like that, by the way, guys, on my videos. This is just my raw like skin, and I usually find my camera, especially with the lights down a little bit lower like this, it picks up all of the stuff, if you know what I mean. But you can see this looks nice and blurred and smooth, and this looks still a little bit textured. You can still see kind of like pores and lines and all this, whereas this side here just looks a little bit smoother and a little bit nicer. At least in my opinion anyway. Okay, so this is just my T-zone set with the light under eye blurring powder. Let's get up close and personal so that you guys can see. It's just, look at my pores even. They look good. It looks good. Okay, so let's go ahead and use the medium one on the rest of my face. This one I'm just taking my e.l.f. Cosmetics powder brush. I keep saying powder blush, but it's powder brush. And I'm just going to tap that lightly over my face. Now, in terms of how long wearing this powder is, I find it to be pleasantly long wearing, honestly, because I have been setting my T-zone, which is the oiliest part of my face, with the light color, and it has been lasting me all day, and I haven't been getting shiny or anything like that. It's been really, really lasting me really beautifully, which is honestly quite shocking for me, because if any of you have watched any of my videos, you know how heavily I have set, or I usually set my face. Like I normally go in with, like I said, the Fenty Beauty Lavender powder, and then I go in with like the Laura Mercier translucent powder or the Maybelline Fit Me powder afterwards, and I use a lot. Like a lot, you guys. I have oily skin and I don't want my makeup to move at all day, and I don't want to have to touch up. So the fact that I can use this light under eye blurring powder underneath my eyes and set my T-zone with it, and I don't have to touch up all day, is phenomenal. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup, and then I will come back and show you kind of what everything's looking like with the rest of my face done. Okay, I have finished my full face of makeup. I have done my eyes, which is a review of the Mothership 2 Sublime palette. If you're interested, it'll probably be up after this video, so keep an eye out, subscribe, you know, so that you don't miss it.
Okay, why would I do that?
Let's zoom in quickly and have a look at my under eyes and see how they're going now that I've kind of done my makeup. Here you are, zoomed on in so that you can see what my skin looks like. The lighting is down, so you get really that, just all of the gloriness that is my skin. And basically my under eyes still look absolutely flawless, if I do say so myself. At least as flawless as my under eyes personally get, honestly. Can't fault them, just cannot fault them. So basically, summing this all up, I think these are the absolute best products I have ever tried for my under eyes. I highly recommend them. I will purchase them at full price. I will purchase them at a discounted price. However I can get these, I will purchase them. If you can afford them and you're curious, go for it. I really, really, really do not think that you will regret it. I promise you. They're just that good. They're just that good. And honestly, if you've watched any of my videos, I'm actually a pretty picky bitch. Like, I really am. Like you guys, if I'm spending my hard-earned money on products, they better perform and they better exceed my expectations, because if they don't, even if they slightly underperform as per my expectation, I am annihilating the product basically, because I am like, you got my money and I worked really friggin' hard for that money, so you better like be worth it. Okay, I hate buying products and wasting my money. So yeah, I am a picky bitch when it comes to makeup and makeup products, and I just am like, that emoji where the mind's blown, that's me. That's me when it comes to these products. Hopefully you found this video interesting. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you like this concealer? Do you have it? The powder? All of that kind of stuff. What are you thinking? Also, let me know if you like these kind of review style videos. Is there anything that I should switch up in them so that you feel like you would get more value out of them? Let me know. I love to hear you guys, and I love your feedback, because I don't know what I don't know. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you are here till this point, you are an incredible human being, and I thank you so, so much. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Bye.